There's a pattern that shows up every single time. Certain women walk into a place, a restaurant, a store, an event, and something in the room shifts. People notice. Staff approaches, better seats appear. Attention is given differently. And the curious part is, these women aren't always wearing designer labels. They simply know a few visual codes that most people will never consciously pick up on, but that the human brain registers in under a second. Today, I'm going to show you 6 of those codes, and once you start using them, you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. 1. The classic beige trench coat. Instant iconic authority. The first code is the most dramatic of all. Imagine 2 women walking into the same restaurant at the same time. Both are well dressed, but one of them is wearing a beige coat, cinched at the waist, with a structured collar, and a belt with a metal buckle. When she walks in, something happens. Heads turn. The waiter moves toward her first. That coat has a name, the trench coat, and it carries a cultural weight that goes far beyond the fabric. The trench coat was born in British aristocracy, passed through military trenches, and made its way to Burberry, to Audrey Hepburn, to the most influential fashion editors in the world. The human brain has already made that connection automatically. When someone wears a classic beige trench, the visual signal that arrives is immediate. This woman has means, and she knows how to use them. But there's a detail that makes all the difference, and this is where most people get it wrong. The trench doesn't enter a room stuffed inside a bag. It shouldn't be thrown carelessly over the shoulders. It enters draped over the forearm, belt visible, structure intact. That detail seems small, but it's exactly what turns an entrance into a presence. The belt is always tied at the waist, never loose, never hanging behind. The collar can be popped for a more dramatic effect, or folded down for something more classic, and the right length is mid-calf, not too short, which kills the drama, and not too long, which loses the elegance. A well-chosen trench lasts 20 years, and over that time it will literally change how people receive you in every room you walk into. But while the trench communicates elegance from a distance, there's another item that communicates wealth up close, very close. 2. The structured premium leather bag, visible investment. Think about this. What stays visible throughout an entire meal at a restaurant? The bag. It's on the chair, beside the plate, or on the table. For 2 hours, anyone seated across from you is going to look at it dozens of times. And what a bag communicates goes far beyond what it seems. Premium leather has a texture and a sheen that are impossible to fake when seen up close. A structured bag, one that stands upright on its own when you set it on the table, carries a quiet signal of expensive craftsmanship. The solid metal hardware, the interior lining, the metal feet on the base. These are details that those who know recognize immediately, and those who don't feel without being able to explain why. The smartest choice to start with is black. Timeless, formal, and casual at the same time, never ages. The second wisest investment is caramel or cognac, because leather in that shade does something few people expect. It gets more beautiful over time. The patina that forms on the corners and handles tells a story of careful use, and that alone communicates something powerful. There's a trick to how you carry it that multiplies the impact. Hardware facing outward, handles firm, posture confident, never dragged, never careless. The bag is carried as an intentional accessory, not a burden, and there's a detail almost nobody mentions. What's inside the bag matters too, not because someone will always see it, but because when they do, the message needs to be consistent. A matching leather wallet, a small and organized pouch. Disorder inside an expensive bag is a broken code. Now, there's a very common mistake that elegant women never make, and it has to do with something most people don't even think to adjust. 3. The perfect tailored pants, instant professionalism. Think about how many pairs of pants you've bought in your life, and think about how many went to a tailor afterward. There's a visual difference that separates a $300 pair without alterations from a $100 pair that's been tailored. The second one looks more expensive, always. The perfect tailored pant, high-waisted, straight or slightly wide leg, with a front crease, creates a proportion that the human eye reads as elegance without being able to name the reason. The high waist ends at exactly the narrowest point of the body, creating the illusion of longer legs and a more refined silhouette. The impeccable front crease communicates discipline and care, And the exact right length, barely grazing the shoe with a minimal break, is something that only happens when someone does it deliberately. Without tailoring, the waist bunches or gaps, the length is wrong, the hem falls crooked. With tailoring, everything aligns. And the cost difference is $30 to $80. That might be the smartest investment you make in fashion. The colors that impress most are black, maximum authority, charcoal gray, understated sophistication, and camel or beige, controlled boldness that pairs with almost everything. A styling trick that stylists use often: charcoal tailored pants paired with a simple white tee and loafers. The contrast between the formal piece and the casual one creates an effect that looks both intentional and expensive. It's what they call high-low, and when done with well-fitted trousers, it works every time. But there's a detail most people completely ignore, and it can ruin any outfit in less than a second. 4. The flawless premium leather shoe, the foundation of elegance. The human eye goes to the feet before anything else. It's a subconscious, automatic movement, and it happens before the person realizes they're looking. A worn shoe with a scuffed heel or dull leather destroys any look, no matter how expensive the rest is, and a flawless shoe elevates any look, no matter how simple the rest seems. The 3 shoes that communicate the most elegance are: a nude pump in the exact shade of your skin tone, 1 or 2 shades darker, which creates the illusion of endless legs, a black or brown leather loafer, which projects comfortable authority, and a black block heel ankle boot, which has an immediate presence even with casual outfits. But a shoe only works if it's in impeccable condition: polished, gleaming leather, 0 visible scratches, heel not worn down. When it loses even a 1/16 of an inch, replace it. That's not excessive perfectionism. It's the code that separates those who have from those who appear to have. There's a mental checklist worth running before you leave the house. Is the leather shining? Is the heel intact? Is the sole clean? If the answer is yes to all 3, you're ready. Now, here's a code that works in a completely different way from the others, because this one doesn't start with how it looks. It starts with how it feels. 5. The neutral cashmere sweater, obvious tactile luxury. There's an experience that happens when someone wears real cashmere. During a hug, a brush of the shoulder, or the moment someone passes close by. The texture is so unmistakable it triggers an immediate reaction. People can't name it, but they feel it. And what they feel is, that's expensive. Real cashmere has a hand feel that no acrylic or blend can imitate. Soft as baby skin, light but substantial, warm without bulk, and it falls on the body in a fluid way that simply doesn't exist in synthetic materials. The smartest colors to invest in: camel first, because it warms every skin tone and pairs with almost everything. Then medium gray, which is versatile year-round, and navy or black for those who want more understated elegance. A trick few people notice: rolling the sleeves to the forearm deliberately exposes the fabric's texture. People see it and subconsciously take it in. It's a way to make the luxury accessible without saying a word. And as a combination, camel-tailored pants with a cashmere sweater in a slightly different shade of camel, lighter or darker, creates a monochromatic visual depth that looks like it was calculated by a professional stylist. How you care for cashmere also communicates something. Hand washing, drying flat, storing folded. Someone who cares for a piece like this demonstrates they understand investment, and it shows in how the piece ages, with dignity, getting more beautiful each year. And now we arrive at the final code, the most subtle of all, and for that very reason, the most powerful. And don't forget, you don't need a closet full of clothes to be elegant. You just need strategy. If you want to learn how to turn 15 pieces into over 150 elegant looks, the link to my complete guide is right below in the pinned comment. Download it and stop struggling in front of the mirror. And if you're watching on TV, just scan the QR code that appears on the screen or in the corner of the video. 6. The classic minimalist watch, quiet luxury on the wrist. There's a silent language that plays out in specific moments. When you gesture as you speak, the wrist appears. When you pay the check at a restaurant and sign, the wrist appears. When you shake someone's hand for the first time, the wrist is one of the first points of visual contact. A classic minimalist watch communicates something that feature-packed watches with visible logos can't. She knows exactly what she wants, and she doesn't need the world to see the brand to understand. This has a name in the fashion world: quiet luxury, a clean dial, minimal information, negative space, solid materials, stainless steel, fine Italian leather, polished finish. A smooth movement, not the audible tick-tock of ordinary watches. The metal rule is absolute. The metal of the watch must match the metal of your jewelry. Gold with gold, silver with silver. This detail seems small until you see the clash when it's wrong, and then you can't unsee it. Those who know recognize it immediately. Those who don't feel something they can't name. And in both cases, the perception is the same. This woman has refined taste. 6 pieces, 6 codes. None of them depend on a visible label, a printed logo, or an announced price tag. The trench that transforms an entrance. The bag that speaks throughout an entire meal. The tailored pants no camera will ever identify as inexpensive. The shoe that needs to be flawless before anything else. The cashmere that speaks through touch before any word is spoken. And the watch that whispers in silence at the exact moments when it's being observed most. The elegance that makes people treat you differently isn't in the price of the pieces. It's in understanding how these codes work, and in the consistency with which you apply them. When you walk out the door with these 6 elements in harmony, something changes. Not in the clothes, in how the room responds to you. Tell me in the comments, which of these 6 codes do you already use, and which one are you going to start applying first? In the next video, I'm going to show you how these same pieces combine into complete looks for specific situations, and why certain combinations work better than others, even when using the exact same pieces.